Welcome back to So, What's Your Story? Today's tale features my brother Dave. He often reminded me of his approach to life. No fear. Another memorable phrase was if you break it, I can fix it. No truer words could describe him. This story will introduce one of the many stories to be told of the adventures he and I have had over the years. The title of this daring story is The Oak Mountain Attenhofer Mogul Hoppin' Stopper. That's right. Let me say it one more time just so you can catch the rhyme. The Oak Mountain Attenhofer Mogul Hoppin' Stopper. Adolf Attenhofer was the prominent Swiss ski manufacturer who founded his ski factory in Zurich in the year 1924. In the 1960s and 70s, the company struggled trying to compete with Austrian and French manufacturers who moved faster into fiberglass technology and large-scale industrial production. One ski that Attenhofer produced was the fish-scaled bottom ski. Although this technology had been successful for Nordic cross-country skis, Attenhofer produced some models for alpine downhill skis. This brand became highly collectible among other skis from the 60s and 70s, often appearing in vintage collector markets. My brother just loved those skis. On a hard-packed surface, one could hear the very audible buzzing sound similar to a kazoo as he careened down the slope. This accentuated not only the rush of the skis across the snow, but also the love he had for speed. Oh, did he love speed! This story takes place on the Black Diamond Ski Trail, Oak Mountain Run, at the Oak Mountain Ski Area. Most of the skiers who frequent the area simply call it the Run. The challenge to run the run when I was growing up was equivalent to the rite of passage. As one can imagine, the technology of grooming machines in the 1960s made it quite a challenge for the drivers. Hence, the Run hardly ever was groomed. And moguls could be likened to mini Volkswagen Beetle vehicles. The Tucker Snowcat, developed by Emmett Tucker Sr. in 1942, was the standard groomer of the 60s and 70s that pulled the snow rollers and chain drags of the era just to keep the trails packed and smooth. There is a vintage Tucker Snowcat still displayed at the Oak Mountain Ski Area right down by the base lodge. I grew up watching this cat season after season. This day was my brother's rite of passage day. Each day of heavy traffic would give the Run a new shape, much like fingerprints. None are the same. To scan the terrain of the Run was of grave importance, a skill all to its own. Each challenger would have to study the Run to pick the perfect line if a successful execution to the bottom without falling was to be secured. This day was no different. After a few slow and methodical runs to determine his path for success, Dave chose the right side to prove his skill. I tried to indicate that with the red line straight down the Run, as you can see in the display. And the star is the inevitable ending of our brave hero today. Poised at the top of the narrow chute of the Run's steep entrance, many of us perched like vultures, glaring with high expectation, almost hoping for an epic crash. For what seemed a silenced eternity, our brave new contender finally pushed off. That piercing buzz of his trusty Attenhofer skis was interrupted, though, mogul after mogul, as they launched our companion higher and higher. One must realize that if the Challenger stayed upright to the run's midsection, there was slim chance to bail out. Hanging on with every skill and reflex to remain upright was met at the highest levels. Peering from our perch, we gaped as our perfectly poised contender, mogul after mogul, began to unravel, arms and ski poles flailing, fighting to remain with some sense of equilibrium. Ottenhofer's flexing to maximum contraction and expansion, and legs flexing and extending beyond normal body function. And then our flying friend entered the final drop of the run's gauntlet, meeting the ultimate barrage of ruthless, battering bumps. Oh, the sudden halt of skis in motion, an ending of a deep commotion. The gliders built with care and time, and Attenhofer flung from thine. A tumble from a mound unseen, one boot, one ski were the only seen. Our hero's shape a cloud of snow did shade, as ejected gear returned, piercing snow like a spear-bound blade. We're at the closing of this tale's gate, the rolling and tumbling of dear brother's fate. A daring quest transformed, the run has told, another victim behold. So, what's your story?